right, welcome to another episode of the Rise and Above podcast. My name's David Hess, and today I have the privilege of sitting down with Jarrod Olsen, who's the chapter president of Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Yep.
Jarrod, could you tell me a little bit about yourself? You from Lansing?
Yeah. So, I was born and raised around here. I grew up in Hazlitt and pretty much lived here my whole life. Got got 3 kids, 15-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl and a 7-year-old girl. So, life's busy. But
Always is with kids.
yeah, for sure. So, grew up around here, and yeah.
So you're the chapter president of Sleep in Heavenly Peace. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we build and deliver beds to kids in the area who would otherwise be sleeping on the floor or in some other sort of situation that wasn't ideal. A lot of times it's parents that apply or folks who apply saying that they need one. They give a reason as to why they need one, and I see all kinds of things. 5 kids sleeping in the bed with mom or dad. They're sleeping on pallets on the floor. Things like that. So we try to solve that issue by building. We hold these build days where we bring the community together, sponsors or volunteers, and have them build the beds in an assembly line type function. And by the time we're done with a build day, we've taken raw material and turned it into 20, 30, 40 beds, whatever it might be. And then we take and deliver those beds along with a brand new mattress and a brand new set of sheets and pillows and the complete bed, deliver it to the folks who have applied, set it up in their house, and give it away as a gift to the kid. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I bought a bunk bed for my children last year during COVID.
Yeah.
And I had read on your guys' website, you guys can do it for under $400, right?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I mean that's including, that's all our costs. I mean, we have costs of a storage unit and the tooling and replacing things that sometimes break, but that.
All right, we're back. Oh, sorry.
No, you're right.
All right, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Do we miss any of that?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So the cost of because we do have to buy our own mattresses are brand new and bedding and whatnot. I mean, just for example, I came home the other day to 41 packages stacked on my front porch, and they were all comforters.
Oh, wow.
This massive wall, but we have to buy this stuff. So we have pretty good deals worked out with a few different mattress suppliers.
Okay. Is that locally or?
Not local. The one I just picked up yesterday. I drove down and picked up 109 mattresses from it's called Wolf Mattress down in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
So, and we have a couple other ones that Maloof is a big one. That was our national sponsor, but
Wow.
COVID kind of messed with the supply chain, so it's been hard. There's been back orders and supply issues and cost issues, but we try to keep everything tamped down to where it is affordable for a sponsor.
Right.
That's basically how it would work. Is a sponsor comes and says, "Hey, we want our folks to do this. Come build with us," and we say, "How many beds do you want to build?" and give them a price from there. So.
Okay. Wow. So you guys don't really function off of donations too much? Or?
Oh, we do.
You do?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay.
For example, I mean, we're doing a build on the 21st next Sunday, and it was volunteer funded. Everybody who signed up was donating. Luckily, we did get quite a few companies that wanted to join in as well, so we had some sponsorship opportunities available for local companies. And we originally had planned that build to be only 40 beds,
Wow.
Ended up doubling about 2 weeks in. Yesterday it tripled. So we're doing
Wow.
we're going to be building 120 beds, and that's just from folks jumping in and saying, "Hey, I want to do this too. Here's some money." Okay. And the volunteers as well. We thought we would probably get around 60 or 80. We're going to be close to over 200.
Wow.
And with that
That's
amount of
insane.
volunteers, we had to say, well, I don't want to say to anybody that's willing to help out, no, you can't accommodate you. So the solution to that is, okay, we got to get more material. I'm literally driving this truck down, highways in Indiana, Ohio, and coming back into Michigan, and I'm fielding phone calls from my team like, we've got a problem. Well, what's the problem?
We have too many people.
We had to shut down the volunteer, registry. Oh, don't do that. What do we do? And then, okay, I'm making phone calls, trying to source more material. That's kind of ongoing, but yeah.
Wow. So, how often do you guys do that? You do certain build days, right?
Yeah.
How often do you do that?
We do them as the opportunities come. This build in March, we just started planning that. I want to say it was very beginning of February, give or take. So it can be a month out. It could be 6 months out. There's another one that we plan every year in June. So we know that one's coming.
Okay.
Beyond that, we were not sure, but we had some other opportunities that came in yesterday as well that we're planning on doing more builds beyond that. So it's kind of happens as it happens. If a sponsor calls me and says they want to do it, okay, what are the dates that you're available? What are our dates? How can we, fit this in? Effectively, we'd love to build once a month. Usually, right around now, we're doing maybe once every 3 months. So.
Okay. So you guys operate off of just cash donations, or is it like lumber? Can somebody donate lumber or mattresses or blankets?
Yeah, we get a lot of times we get folks who just call up and say they've already held like a bedding drive. Where do I bring this stuff? I have a family that's out in like the Howell area who calls right around Christmas time every year, and they're as a family they just show up at their party with bunch of material. Pillows and blankets and comforters, and then they call and say where we bring it. Lowe's is another huge one that they donate massive amounts of lumber and materials to us. When we first started our chapter, I just reached out and asked them, can we get a discount, kind of thing.
That's cool.
And they walked me in one day, a few weeks later, into their break room, and said, "You got a trailer?" I said, "Yeah, I got a trailer. Why?" I said, "Well, everything in here is for you." And it was our entire everything we needed for tools. $6,000-7,000 worth of stuff they just donated. So we take in kind, what we call in kind donations, where people are just handing us things. We take cash. Well, yeah, cash, or our preferred thing is that people jump onto our website and donate through there. That hits our account the fastest. It's less time and paperwork for us. Everything's tracked in that system. They get their tax credit and all that stuff.
Okay.
So there's a specific section on our website for, hey, do you want to make a donation? And that's a lot of times where we do it.
Okay. And what website is that?
shpbeds.org.
Okay.
And we have over 200 chapters, and everything's kind of centralized through that website. But if people from the area that want to join in or help, jump on there. They can specifically find the Lansing chapter donation page. It's also linked through our Facebook page for the Lansing chapter, and yeah.
Okay. Yep. So if somebody wanted to get involved, how could they do that?
Yeah. So lengthy answer, I guess, to your question.
That's all right.
We started this in 2018 in Lansing, and I've kind of been wearing 6 different hats. Volunteer coordinator. I've had a build manager pretty much from the start, which has been nice. Josh Strong, grew up with a guy, and he's taken over and kind of helped out with the build aspect of it. But volunteer coordinator, donation donation sourcer, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
All the different things that we have to do. I've kind of been doing that. This year, 2 folks came on and said, we want to be more involved in a deeper way. Chad Bernard, who is this build coming up, is with his organization, Fieldwork, and he's been a blessing. The things that are happening right now and the connections and the resources coming from his side are just blowing my mind. And then Sherry Hines, and Sherry Hines is a wife of a buddy of mine, and she is the organizational arm of our chapter now. I tend to keep things in my head and on scraps of paper, and they might be in my truck or my laptop bag or wherever, and I got to go digging for things. Not very organized. And she came on, and she has I believe she has a master's degree in organizational something.
That's a thing.
Yeah, and yeah, when she came and said, how do I apply for a position, and in your organization, told me she had that, and I said, "Oh, you are perfect.
You're hired.
I need you." So she's our volunteer coordinator, but she also does several other things. So anybody who wants to volunteer, I'm asking that they either email her directly, or just if they join our Facebook page. A lot of times they can or like and follow our Facebook page. We post all events there, and sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But Sherry Hines, she's keeping a detailed list of volunteers so that she can directly contact them with opportunities. Because we have big build opportunities, but we also have smaller, some folks don't have all the time in the world, or they don't want to be, especially right now, if they don't want to be around a big group. We have smaller opportunities, like moving things from one place to another. I need 12 people for 2 hours. She can contact out and say, I need 12 volunteers. And helps it move a little quicker. Instead of it being just me and my son for 6 hours on a Sunday doing something, it could be an hour,
Right.
So, but yeah, Sherry Hines, that's, and I can give you her email address if you want to.
Okay, yeah, and I'll put all that
show
information.
notes or whatever. Yeah. So, yep, that's how people get involved, is follow us on Facebook, or contact her directly just to get added to a mailing list, basically.
So how did you get involved in all of this? I mean, because it's kind of, I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
And when I found out about it, I thought it was pretty amazing, and it's kind of crazy that you have such a passion for it, obviously, because you dedicate it's your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you get involved?
Yeah, and when you say it's my job, that's funny. I had a foundation committee, or a head of a foundation, call me yesterday and kind of, go along the same line. She's like, "So this is your job?" I said, well, it's my part-time volunteer thing that I do. I still have a job. I work 50 hours a week at, I still have 3 kids with schedules of sports and at-home schooling right now and all the other things, and then the little other things I do as well. But it always kind of is a shock to people that it isn't my full-time job. The nice thing is that at my current employer, everybody there is very supportive. If I need to take a break and make some phone calls, or if I need to run somewhere real quick, it's, get out of here, go do that, come right back, whatever.
That's cool.
So that's been a blessing. But the way it originally started and how it came to my, attention was in February of 18, I was just doing what I always do, just kind of kicking it on the couch before going to bed one night. It was pretty late. It was like 11 or 12 o'clock. And just jumped on Facebook, scrolling through, and I came across a video that was just kind of in the feed from Mike Rowe, from Dirty Jobs. He was doing a new series, and it was a Facebook series called Returning the Favor. And I hadn't seen it before, and I don't even know how it popped up on my news feed, but I was like, oh, okay, I like Mike Rowe. I'll check it out. Not realizing it was like a 45-minute video. It wasn't just some quick little thing. And at that time, I had started building bunk beds for my daughters.
Oh, cool.
They were sitting in my garage waiting to be finished. And I think that might have been kind of what caught my attention, was it said something in the title about bunk beds. I was like, oh, okay, check it out. By the time I got on watching this 45-minute video where he went to the headquarters of Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which at the time only had, I think, 8 or 9 chapters.
Wow.
All kind of centrally located over in Idaho, Utah. I think there was like 1 in California.
How many chapters are there now?
Over 200.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's grown immensely within the last couple of years.
Yeah, and the amazing really thing was that video was the seed for SHP to just blow up over after that. I finished watching the video and I was kind of teared up a little bit just because it was it was amazing what they were doing, and I was like, I'm building bunk beds in my garage, and I was building other things, and I was like, that's right up my alley. I've been looking for some way to give back. I have a passion for helping kids as well. You know, one of the community, or I guess Parks and Recs guy used to always give me a shout like, hey, I don't have a coach for this team. He knew I wasn't going to say no. I was like, man, all right. Like, just knowing that it was a time commitment that somehow I got to fit that in with my job as well. And there was going to be juggling happening there. And this was the same thing. You know, I couldn't say no to, I should be able to do this, you know. And part of it, I think, was I thought there might be, you know, 20 kids a year I could help out or something like that. And come to find out, there's way more of a need. Same way that happened with how this whole thing started was, you know, the founder, Luke Mickelson, had just built a bed and said, hey, you know, put it on Facebook and said, hey, does anybody need this? And he was flooded.
Wow.
You know, my kids don't have one. My kids don't have one. My kids are sleeping on the floor. And that woke him up to, man, if I can do something about this, I'm gonna, you know, no kid's gonna sleep on the floor in my town. And so I was thinking the same thing, but shortly after we became a chapter and opened up to applications, we were over 500. We hit 700 needs.
This is all local?
This is local. Yeah,
Wow.
I was scolded a little bit at training. I was at training in April. After watching that video, I was already in Idaho, because I said, hey, you know, can I start this? They said, well, you have to come here and train. I was in the second training class in April. There was 45, I think, chapter presidents that came in at that time, and that's when I came back from training and opened up our applications. Oh, I'm sorry. I was scolded a little bit because I wanted to call our chapter Mid-Michigan, and they said, no, don't do that. I said, well, it won't be that bad. I think I could cover like 3 counties or whatever. They're like, no, take it down in scope. See if you can do just Lansing. So I said, okay, I'll take the zip codes of everything in Lansing, and then Hazlet, Okemos, Williamston, St. John, you know, Grand Ledge, everything, greater Lansing area. And the reality set in when the applications started flooding in that I wasn't going to be able to move much past out of Lansing yet. You know, a 40 bed build is a big deal. And when you're doing that twice a year and you've got 700 applications, it was a bit overwhelming at first. Like, I'm never going to get to these, you know, and that sucks. You sit at home and you're, you know, frustrated.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Just knowing
you're limited.
Yep. So, 18 was kind of our startup year. 19 we did, I think we did double the beds that we did in 18. I want to say we were like 160, 170 at that point. 2020 shut us down. We weren't able to even do anything until November, I think, of 20. We did a little build at Lowe's, and I think we delivered 20 or 30 beds. And then the beginning of this year, I think we were already numbers aren't my thing. Like I said, I'm not organized, but I want to say we've delivered mid-30s already, and part of that was just training for some delivery folks. And then on the 21st, we're delivering 120 in one day. And our goal, I had originally met with my team and said, hey, our goal is normally 100 beds a year. I want to make up for last year a little bit. Let's do 150. And we're already going to be past that in March. So I said, all right, well, guys, we're going to be like 300 now. That's our goal, is 300. And hopefully that doubles again, just like the expectation of this build. We've done 40, 80, 120. We were at 150. Now we're 300.
Right.
I'd love to just clear our list out and then have, you know, a small stock of inventory, and every time a application comes in, arrange for delivery, get it done right away.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. There were some that we were delivering that were 2-year-old applications, and I'd call them and say, it's been a while, I'm sorry. Do you still have a need? Yep. Okay, we'll be there. And there was ones that would come in. We were in the middle of doing deliveries, and we had a cancellation because of sickness. And I said, well, we've already got 5 beds on board. We're not going to put them back in the unit. I got got to find somebody. An application came in right then. I called her. I said, yeah, I just got your app. Are you ready? Can you take these? And she didn't say anything. I thought, hello, are you there? She goes, I could hear her. She was kind of choked up. She's like, yeah, come over right now. We were able to deliver within like an hour of an application.
Wow.
And that's what I would love. I'd love to see us get to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
That is insane. So as far as like demographics of people, you said you're pretty much stuck in Lansing right now.
Yeah, we've done some outside. Like I've done some in Bath.
Okay.
Hazlet, Okemos, East Lansing, Holt. The couple of ones, but I've mainly Lansing. I'd say 90% of them or so are in Lansing itself.
Okay.
Yeah. Demographics wise, it's everything. It's all over the place. That's part of our organization's goal is not only to help the kids that need it, to also involve the community, give people. There's so much negative every day. It's I've had news reporters call me wanting to do a story and say, well, my producer doesn't like to do good stories.
Wow.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
This is a great story.
Yeah.
Stop just producing the negative. But
it's clickbait. That's what people are interested in.
Yeah, but there's also, we're finding more and more that people are hungry for good stuff and they want to help out.
Yeah.
Especially after last year. They're just chomping at the bit to get out and do something good.
Yeah.
So that was our second, I guess, pillar of our organization is bringing folks in and giving them something good to do. And then the third is just bringing awareness to the problem. I mean, most folks think when they're gonna help out a charity or donate something to somebody, it's either blood or bedding, or not bedding. I'm sorry, blood or food or shelter, clothing.
Right.
And it was me. I didn't know there was need for beds. A lot of people don't.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Yep.
Not until Shane had recommended you. I'm like, what is this? This thing sounds awesome.
Yep. I mean, my son, and that was for me personally. Part of the reason I started it was hearing Luke's story of how he even started it was it was Christmas time. Excuse me. It was Christmas time, and he felt like his kids were a little entitled on the gift end of things. They were just, this is Christmas, time for gifts.
Right.
And same for me.
Same with my kids.
I was like, well, okay, they live this life that they need to see stuff outside of it and how fortunate they are, appreciate what they have. I don't want to raise 3 brats.
Right.
I guess you could say. So it's like, this is something I can bring them on, they can do as well. And so my son and my daughters, they get excited for builds, they get excited for deliveries. And I'd taken my son on a few one day, we just happened to have time, and was like, okay, let's go do these. We walk up to the house, and it's one of his teammates from a basketball team he played on.
He had no idea.
No clue. You just don't. Maybe people don't show up and say,
I don't have a bed.
I don't sleep in a bed. Yeah.
Right.
So being able to deliver that with his buddy and, see, that you never know what people are going through.
Yeah. I think that's extremely important for kids to see. I mean, again, my kids, they have their tablets, they have their iPads, and they play Minecraft all the time or whatever.
Sure.
And they don't really have an idea of some of the things that kids have gone through or are going through. And so to be able to interact in such a thing as what you're doing, is important for them to see the different kinds of lifestyles that other people have.
For sure.
Yeah.
We did some deliveries with Channel 6's news team. They do a yearly thing where they volunteer at some organization, and they picked us for one year, and so we brought them all along and started doing deliveries, and we got to one house, and a couple of them came out looking like ghosts. I was outside doing something to a headboard, and we'd been doing a few deliveries, so they knew what to do. They took the material in, and they started finding out where it goes and all that. And they came out just looking off, and one of the guys who was a camera guy came over, and I said, what's going on? Like, something happened in there? And he says, dude, we just did a story on this girl like a week ago. What do you mean? Like, what kind of story? He goes, she was shot like a week ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and we all just kind of stood around and just blew my mind a little bit. I said, okay, let's get in there and build this bed for her, and you know, hopefully she has a better day, you know. But that kind of thing, like I had no clue when I had set up the delivery time, and that wasn't something they put in their application. But to find out that this kid who hadn't had a bed and was going through things like that, like immediately puts me in a situation thinking, what if that was my kid?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's it's just tough. It's tough seeing it and going. But it's what we can do is what we can do. We can help them out by bettering their life situation a little bit.
Right.
So
Now, do you guys have a shop, like a wood shop, like woodworking shop, or would
nope, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not our chapter, at least.
Okay.
There's some chapters who have been, given things like shops, to home base, I guess you could say, where they bring people to build. And right now, our chapter's operating out of a storage unit.
Okay.
We build on site wherever we can build. The 21st is outdoors at a warehouse.
Wow.
We built outside at Lowe's. We built under their canopy during some inclement weather types of situations, and so we just build where we can. We've had opportunities to do indoor builds in the wintertime, which has been nice. But yeah, right now we pick up everything from the storage unit, take it to wherever we're building, then take it all back, put it back in the storage unit.
That makes it a lot more difficult too.
A little bit, just a little bit. I mean, it's we're set up pretty nice. It's a nice unit, and it's plenty of space. So
Okay.
and when it comes to holding on to the things, the tools, we just store them.
Okay.
It'd be great to have a small warehouse where we could have the tool train just set up and ready to go, and all we need to do is bring some lumber in and folks and build, and then leave it all where it's at. And hopefully that door gets opened at some point. But yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it'd be a pain. I couldn't imagine having to take all this wood out my backyard, build a bunk bed, and then carry it back inside. That seems like a huge hassle.
Yeah, these tool trains are huge. I mean, we have multiple saws, multiple generators, 3 dozen sanders, 4 drill presses. We got stations for headboard assemblies, and we stain everything with this vinegar steel wool mixture. It's super nice because it seals the wood, gives it a little color. It actually helps keep bed bugs away.
Okay.
And then we brand them. So we take all the little bits of scrap wood that we end up with, burn it in our little fireplace deal. We have these branding irons, and we brand the beds. Every volunteer gets to brand a bed, which is a nice experience for them.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's got a little logo. But yeah, that stretches out. It's a huge train. Yeah, and then you got to pack it up, put it away.
Right. So do you guys train people to build them? How does that work? Or do you take experienced people who know how to work around wood?
Yeah. That's a real cool thing about it too, is we tell people, like, you don't have to have ever picked up a tape measure. You touched a tool. You can come to our build. You can jump into any station, and we'll help you out with that tool. You'll learn how to run a saw. You can learn how to run a sander or a drill or a drill press. We do training on site. So we have a good amount of volunteers that show up that have done builds before and can stand at a station and help train, as well as a build manager who, Josh,
oversees.
Yeah, he oversees all that. So yeah, that's a plus to how we do it. Is you don't have to ever touch one before. I've stood on drill stations and coached folks through, okay, give it a little more pressure because you're about to strip that out. But it's not a big deal. It's not a high stress situation. It's like, we have more screws, we have more drill bits, we can figure this out,
right?
And by the end of it, they're pros.
Yeah, I bet.
I see 12-year-old girls who are running a drill just and loving it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
I would love to join that sometime.
For sure.
That'd be fun.
More than welcome.
My camera just went out on me.
Oh.
All right. There we go.
Probably timed out thinking you weren't there.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll take anybody, anybody wants to come out. That was one of the things dealing with this up and coming build, was I've had to field the the question of, what if we have too many people? Nope.
Never such thing.
Yeah. We have some things to worry about, being that we still need to be safe about it now. But we have all the PPE on hand. We've got the plan to space everybody out, and spacing it out actually opens up spots for more volunteers. Like I need a guy who can move wood from this table to this table. I need somebody that can take that material from the end of it and move it over there and stack it where it needs to go. So
that's a pretty basic.
Yeah,
basic thing to do.
It works out.
Yeah.
If the way I look at it is, if we're all doing something good, there's we're gonna have kinks or little things to problem solve, but that's that's what we do. We problem solve every single time.
Right.
And having too many people, I don't see as ever being a problem.
I don't know why that keeps going off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
These cameras are the biggest pain in the butt.
Oh yeah.
I've
It did it again.
Yeah, it says battery exhausted. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that camera around.
Okay.
I'll just keep it on you.
Angle switch up.
So this is something that you've had your family involved in.
Yeah. Yep.
Your kids and your wife, they
yep.
all like it, obviously.
Oh yeah. Yep. Mom, dad, brothers come out. Good friends of mine, they all jump in. Just a bunch of people. A lot of times I forget to get a hold of everybody I need to get a hold of. Sometimes, you're having a build? Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't.
Well, when you're in control of something like that, it's almost impossible to have to communicate with everybody.
Sure. Yeah. And it comes up quick.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
So your next build is next week, and you plan on building how many beds?
Well, we're doing 120 now.
120.
Yeah. We're trying something we've never done before. We normally do a build, and then we put all that wood in the storage unit. Everything that's done, we put it in the storage unit, and then we start scheduling deliveries later. In chunks. We're doing. We're showing up. Everybody's showing up. 8:15. We start building at 9. We have 10 delivery teams on site. We'll have 10 delivery packages to go immediately at the beginning of the build. We're sending 38 beds out. That's what we had left in our stock. So we'll be delivering 38 beds as we're building more. Those delivery teams come back. People from the build, anybody that wants to deliver, can jump into a delivery team at that point, deliver another set. And then once they're done, they come back, and anyone else who hasn't been able to deliver can jump in. And by the end of the day, we'll have delivered 120 beds.
Wow.
So logistically, it's been fun to plan and figure out. It's huge. There's a lot of chapters that have built 100 beds in a day or built 200 beds in a day. And there's a lot of chapters that build 40 and deliver them all in the same day. I don't personally know of any that have done 120 and delivered a whole 120. I don't want to go back to the storage unit with completed beds.
Right.
I want to be cleaned out. And that's taken some obviously planning and figuring out. I mean, I went and bought 2 Walmarts out of every pillow they had.
Wow.
And got some funny looks on the way out, pulling 4 carts, and I'm just kind of like, yeah. Yeah. So.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know if I have any further questions regarding that. Is there anything else you want to talk about regarding the project?
No, just giving thanks to our sponsors and our volunteers.
Who sponsor this? Who sponsors your project?
It depends on the build. Our major national sponsors are Lowe's, first and foremost. They nationally, I think they gave SHP $1 million last year, or might have been the beginning of last year. So we actually, as a local chapter, used a big chunk of that, a grant for this build. So Lowe's is a big one. Community Foundation gave us a grant for PPE for this one, because that's just an added expense this time. Mask, gloves, sanitizer, all that. That was taken care of, and I think that grant was awarded in like 2 days.
Wow!
From application to the phone call, like, yeah, you got it, sweet. So Community Foundation, Meyer chipped in, Costco chipped in, RPM Auto chipped in, and then
what do they do? Do they
those
send you money?
Yeah, those were like money donations.
Okay.
Yep. we threw them on the back of a T-shirt, and
That's
we'll
cool.
have some signage and stuff for them, just because that helped out. I mean, they covered like just things you wouldn't necessarily think were big expense, but water, Gatorade, coffee,
Yeah.
pizza, for everybody,
Right.
PPE, and then just the cost of buying everything, a truck to go down and pick up the mattresses, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So every little bit helped, and we actually got awarded a grant yesterday as well. I'm not
Wow.
sure if I'm supposed to be talking about it, but
We don't have to say what it is.
Yeah, it's. I'll say what it is.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
Ari Olds Foundation, which was something I wasn't aware of until about a month ago. Um, got a phone call from their chairman yesterday,
Wow.
and that'll go to the next build. But they awarded us 10 grand,
Wow.
and that will fund everything we need for that next build. Probably roughly 75 to 80 beds.
Wow.
That'll take care of that. So, but yeah, just thanking all the sponsors, and the individuals. I mean, the build we're doing, there's still money coming in from people who are volunteering. One of the phone calls I fielded from Chad yesterday was 18 people signed up the night before and donated $1,800.
Wow.
So it's each one of those folks roughly gave $100.
That's incredible.
They're giving money and giving their time.
Yeah.
I can't ask for anything better than that. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think what you are doing is absolutely awesome. I'd love to come to one of your builds one of these times.
Yeah.
If
you can't make 21st, we're doing another one second Saturday of June,
Okay.
12th or 13th. I don't remember the exact day, but it's
Okay.
that's our Bunks Across America build day, where every chapter is building at the same time.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So
That's cool.
yeah.
And as a chapter, or not as every chapter, how many beds as a
Yeah.
as a whole do you guys build?
Each year is a little bit different. Our goal this year is, I think, 40,000.
Okay.
I think that just came out. I think they just came out with that. And I want to say, okay, numbers wise, the way it's kind of projected and the way it's been going is from the day they started, it's kind of doubled every year.
Wow.
Last year, we'll exclude that. We still built and still delivered. I don't remember
Mhm.
the exact numbers. It wasn't anywhere near what we wanted to do. Restrictions being what they were. The year before that, I think our goal was 10,000. I want to say we hit 20.
Wow.
Yeah, so big numbers, and they keep
Th-
going up.
That's
20,
awesome.
20 to 40. Maybe next year we do 80.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yep.
All right. So if anybody wants to get involved, go to your website, which
Yep.
is what again?
SHPBeds, BEDS.org, or they can find us on Facebook. That's the SHP Lansing, MI Lansing. That'll pop right up.
Like and follow.
Like and follow, yep. And then I can give you Sherry's email to if volunteers want to directly get a hold of her and get on a list.
Okay.
So that's I guess do it right now.
Okay.
It's Sherry, SHERRI period HINES at SHPBeds with an S.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, let's wrap this up.
Sounds good. Thanks for
All
having me
right.
on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.